The vast expanse of space stretched out before the Confederation's survey ship Stargazer. Captain Sarah, a lithe Centaurian with iridescent scales, stood on the bridge, her 4 eyes scanning the holographic displays. "Captain, we're picking up an anomaly," reported Crix, the Valerian sensor officer. His crystalline form shimmered as he processed the data. Zara's antennae twitched with curiosity. On screen, the main view screen flickered to life, revealing a massive object drifting in the void. Its design was unlike anything in the Confederation database, sleek yet imposing, bearing the scars of ancient battles. "By the cosmic winds," whispered Zara. "What is that?" Lieutenant Dax, the ship's Arcturian historian, leaned forward, his tentacles curling with excitement. "Captain, if I may, this matches descriptions from old legends. I believe we're looking at a human warship." A hush fell over the bridge. Humans were considered myths, stories told to frighten young ones about a warrior race that vanished millennia ago. "Impossible," growled Security Chief Grax, the Gossoid's fur bristling. "Humans are fairy tales." Zara raised a hand to silence the murmurs. "Fairy tales don't build starships, Grax. Crix, any signs of life or power?" Crix's crystalline form pulsed as he analyzed the data. "Negative, Captain. The ship appears dormant." Zara's mind raced with the implications of their discovery. If this truly was a human vessel, it could rewrite galactic history. "Prepare a boarding party. We're going in." As the team geared up, tension filled the air. They were about to step into the unknown, possibly awakening something that had slumbered for eons. The boarding party, led by Zara herself, approached the massive ship. Using advanced cutting tools, they breached an airlock and entered the dark interior. Strange contraptions lined the walls, their purpose a mystery to the alien explorers. "Dax, any idea what we're looking at?" Zara asked, her handheld light illuminating bizarre machinery. The historian's tentacles waved excitedly. "This technology, it's incredible, far beyond anything in our database." As they ventured deeper, they encountered no signs of life, but the ship seemed to be in a state of suspended animation rather than decay. They reached what appeared to be the bridge, a vast chamber filled with consoles and view screens. "Captain, look," Grax called out, his powerful form tensed for action. In the center of the bridge stood a raised platform with a single chair, and in that chair, encased in some form of stasis field, was a figure. Zara's breath caught in her throat. "Is that?" "A human," Dax confirmed, his voice filled with awe. The figure was bipedal, with pale skin and dark hair. Its form was both alien and strangely familiar, matching the descriptions from ancient texts. "It appears to be alive," Crix reported, scanning the stasis pod. "There are more life signs throughout the ship, hundreds of them." Zara realized they had stumbled upon not just a relic of a legendary species, but living specimens. The implications were staggering. "We need to report this to Confederation High Command immediately," Grax insisted. But Zara hesitated. The discovery of living humans would send shockwaves through the galaxy. Some would welcome it, others would react with fear. And there were always those who would seek to exploit such a find. "Not yet," Zara decided. "We need to understand what we're dealing with first. Crix, set up a research station here. Dax, I want you analyzing everything you can about their history and technology, but do not, under any circumstances, attempt to revive them." As the crew of the Stargazer began their careful study of the human ship, none of them realized they were standing at the precipice of a new era. Deep within the ship's systems, triggered by their presence, ancient protocols were stirring to life. A countdown had begun, not just for the revival of the human crew, but for a clash of civilizations that would reshape the very fabric of galactic society. The children of Earth were about to awaken, and the galaxy would never be the same. For 3 standard cycles, the Stargazer orbited the colossal human warship, now dubbed Lazarus by Captain Sarah's crew. They had meticulously studied the vessel, carefully avoiding any action that might trigger the stasis pods. However, fate had other plans. Deep within Lazarus's core, an artificial intelligence stirred to life. It had slumbered for millennia, waiting for the right moment to awaken its human charges. The presence of alien life forms on board had set in motion a cascade of reactivation protocols. In the makeshift research lab on Lazarus's bridge, Dax's tentacles suddenly stiffened. "Captain, I'm detecting a power surge." Before anyone could react, a holographic figure materialized before them, a translucent, blue-tinged human female. "Greetings," it spoke, its voice resonating in perfect galactic standard. "I am ARIA, Artificial Reconnaissance and Integration Assistant. You've activated the revival protocol. Prepare for the awakening of the Terran Defense Force." Panic swept through the alien crew. Grax raised his weapon instinctively. "Captain, your orders." Zara's mind raced. This was escalating far beyond her control, but she saw an opportunity for peaceful first contact. "Stand down, Grax." "Oh yeah, we mean no harm. We are explorers from the Galactic Confederation. Can you delay the revival process so we can establish diplomatic relations?" Aria's expression remained impassive. "Negative. The awakening cannot be halted. However, I will convey your peaceful intentions to the command staff. Prepare for their emergence." Throughout Lazarus, stasis pods hissed open. Disoriented humans stumbled out, their eyes widening at the sight of alien beings. In the bridge's central pod, a tall, silver-haired woman in a crisp uniform regained consciousness. Her sharp green eyes quickly assessed a situation. "I am Admiral Lara Vance of the Terran Defense Force," she announced, her voice hoarse from disuse, but filled with authority. "Who are you, and what year is it?" Captain Zara stepped forward, her scales shimmering in a gesture of peace. "I am Captain Zara of the Galactic Confederation's survey vessel Stargazer. We discovered your ship adrift. By our calendar, it is the year 7522 of the Galactic Era." Admiral Vance's stoic expression faltered for a moment. "Over 5,000 years," she whispered, more to herself than the others. Composing herself quickly, she addressed the alien captain. "It seems we have much to discuss, Captain Zara. But first, I need to attend to my crew and assess our situation." As the humans regained their bearings, tension filled the air. The alien crew watched in awe and trepidation as the legendary humans moved with purpose, checking systems and tending to their fellows. Dr. Ilara Nix, the ship's chief medical officer, approached Admiral Vance. "Admiral, the crew is in remarkably good shape considering the duration of our stasis. However, we're dealing with severe disorientation and some cases of stasis sickness." "Thank you, Doctor. Do what you can for them," Vance replied. She turned back to Zara. "Captain, I propose we convene a meeting between our senior staff to exchange information and determine our next steps." Zara agreed, and soon representatives from both sides gathered in Lazarus's conference room. The humans, still grappling with the shock of their temporal displacement, listened intently as Zara explained the current state of the galaxy. "The Galactic Confederation spans 3/4 of the known galaxy," she concluded. "We have achieved relative peace and prosperity through cooperation and technological advancement." Admiral Vance nodded thoughtfully. "And what of Earth, of humanity?" A heavy silence fell over the room. Dax, the historian, spoke up. "Admiral, I'm afraid we have no records of Earth or any human colonies. Until now, your species was considered a myth, stories of a long-lost civilization that vanished millennia ago." The news hit the humans hard. Commander Talon Reed, the tactical officer, slammed his fist on the table. "That's impossible. We were at the height of our expansion when we launched this mission. How could we just disappear?" Admiral Vance raised a hand to calm her officer. "What was the nature of this mission?" Zara inquired, her curiosity piqued. Vance exchanged glances with her staff before responding. "We were part of Operation Firewall, a last-ditch effort to save humanity from an existential threat. An alien force we called the Swarm was consuming entire star systems. We were sent into deep space with the best of our technology and brightest minds to preserve our species and find a way to defeat the Swarm. The revelation sent shockwaves through the alien representatives. The Swarm was not a myth either. It was a terror that still lingered in the collective memory of many Confederation species. "The Swarm is gone," Crick stated, his crystalline form pulsing with emotion. "Vanished without a trace nearly 4,000 years ago. No one knows why." A glimmer of hope shone in Admiral Vance's eyes. Then perhaps our mission wasn't in vain after all. We carried with us weapon prototypes and defense systems specifically designed to combat the Swarm. If they worked, the implications hung in the air. Had humanity sacrificed itself to save the galaxy? As the meeting continued, both sides shared knowledge and technology. The humans were amazed by the advancements made in their absence, while the Confederation representatives marveled at the ingenuity of human design. However, not everyone was pleased with this turn of events. Grax pulled Captain Zara aside. "Captain, we need to alert High Command immediately. The re-emergence of humanity could destabilize the entire Confederation, their technology, their potential threat." Zara cut him off. "I understand your concerns, Grax, but I believe we have an opportunity here. The humans possess knowledge and capabilities that could benefit us all. We need to handle this delicately." As the discussions wound down, Admiral Vance addressed the group. "We are grateful for your assistance, Captain Zara. However, we find ourselves adrift in a galaxy that has forgotten us. We need time to acclimate, to decide our path forward." Zara nodded in understanding. "Of course, Admiral. We will provide any support we can. But I must inform you that I'm obligated to report this discovery to my superiors. The reappearance of humanity will have far-reaching consequences." "We understand," Vance replied. "We only ask for a chance to re-establish ourselves peacefully." As the meeting concluded, both humans and aliens knew that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was about to change, and the long-lost children of Earth would play a pivotal role in shaping its future. Unbeknownst to either group, news of humanity's return was already spreading. In the shadowy corners of the galaxy, ancient powers stirred, some fearful, others intrigued. The stage was set for a clash of civilizations, with humanity caught in the center of a cosmic storm they never anticipated. As news of humanity's re-emergence spread through the Galactic Confederation, reactions varied wildly. Some species welcomed the return of the legendary humans with fascination and hope, while others viewed them with suspicion and fear. The Confederation Council convened an emergency session to address the situation. Meanwhile, aboard Lazarus, Admiral Laura Vance and her crew worked tirelessly to bring their systems up to date and understand the new galactic landscape. Captain Zara and her team remained as liaisons, fostering a growing alliance between the two groups. Dr. Ilara Nix approached Admiral Vance on the bridge, her dark eyes gleaming with excitement. "Admiral, you need to see this. We've made a breakthrough with the Nexus Drive." The Nexus Drive had been Lazarus's most closely guarded secret, an experimental propulsion system that could potentially revolutionize space travel. However, it had never been fully operational before the ship entered stasis. Admiral Vance followed Dr. Nix to the engine room, where Chief Engineer Marcus Thorne was practically bouncing with enthusiasm. "We've done it, Admiral," Thorne exclaimed. "By integrating some of the Confederation's quantum field theories with our existing framework, we've stabilized the drive. We can now create controlled micro-wormholes for near-instantaneous travel across vast distances." The implications were staggering. This technology could reshape the very nature of interstellar commerce and exploration. Captain Zara, who had been invited to witness the breakthrough, was awestruck. This is beyond anything we've ever achieved. The Council needs to know about this immediately." Admiral Vance held up a hand. "Not so fast, Captain. This technology is too powerful to simply hand over. We need to consider the ramifications carefully. As if on cue, Aria's holographic form materialized. Admiral, I've detected an incoming transmission. It appears to be from the Galactic Confederation Council. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a panel of diverse alien beings. At the center sat High Counselor Xandor, a towering Aetherian with shimmering gossamer wings. Admiral Vance, Xandor began, his tone a mixture of respect and wariness. Your reappearance has caused quite a stir. The Council has decided that your ship and crew must be brought to the capital for evaluation. The unspoken threat hung in the air. Vance straightened, her voice firm. With all due respect, Counselor, we are not subjects to be studied. We are willing to open diplomatic channels, but we will do so as equals. Xandor's wings fluttered in agitation. You misunderstand, Admiral. This is not a request. A Confederation fleet is en route to escort you. Cooperation is advised. As the transmission cut off, tension filled the bridge. Commander Tavern Reed turned to Vance. Orders, Admiral. Vance's mind raced, weighing their options. They couldn't run, not when they were just beginning to understand this new galaxy. Fighting was out of the question. They needed allies, not enemies. Then an idea struck her. Mr. Thorne, she called over the comm, how quickly can you get the Nexus drive online for a demonstration? Give me 2 hours, Admiral, came the confident reply. Vance turned to Zara. Captain, I have a proposition for you and your crew. How would you like to make history? Over the next 2 hours, humans and aliens worked side by side, preparing Lazarus for its grand reveal. As the Confederation fleet approached, tension mounted. Incoming hail from the lead ship, Aria announced. On screen, Vance commanded. A stern-faced Phylaxian appeared. This is Commander Krell of the Confederation Navy. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. Admiral Vance smiled coolly. I have a counter-proposal, Commander. We're about to demonstrate a technology that will change everything. I invite you and the Council to witness it firsthand. Before Krell could respond, Vance nodded to Thorne. Initiate the Nexus drive. The space around Lazarus shimmered, a swirling vortex of energy enveloping the massive ship. In a flash of brilliance, they vanished, leaving the Confederation fleet staring at empty space. Seconds later, Lazarus reappeared, orbiting the Confederation capital world light-years away. Gasps of astonishment echoed through the bridge of every Confederation ship. On the capital planet below, alarms blared as the unexpected arrival was detected. Admiral Vance opened a channel to the stunned Council. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the future of space travel. Now, shall we discuss our place in this galaxy as equals? The demonstration of the Nexus drives sent shockwaves through the Confederation. Overnight, the balance of power had shifted. Humanity, far from being a relic of the past, now held the key to revolutionizing interstellar travel. In the days that followed, intense negotiations took place. The Council, realizing the potential benefits of cooperating with humanity, softened their stance. However, not everyone was pleased with this turn of events. During a recess in the negotiations, Dr. Nix approached Admiral Vance with a troubled expression. Admiral, I've been analyzing some of the medical data we've gathered since awakening. There's something you need to see. Nix's findings were disturbing. The humans of Lazarus had undergone subtle genetic changes during their long stasis, changes that enhanced their natural abilities and resilience. They were technically no longer baseline humans. It must be a side effect of the stasis field interacting with the anti-swarm treatments we underwent before launch, Nix hypothesized. This development added another layer of complexity to an already delicate situation. If word got out, it could fuel fears about humanity's potential threat to the established order. Meanwhile, Commander Ree had been working with AOIO to analyze Confederation security protocols. He uncovered evidence of a shadowy organization within the Confederation, one that seemed to have knowledge of humanity's history and had been working to suppress it. As Vance and her team grappled with these revelations, they also faced the challenge of carving out a place for humanity in this new galactic society. The Nexus drive gave them leverage, but it also painted a target on their backs. Captain Sarah, who had become an unofficial ambassador for humanity within the Confederation, warned Vance of growing unrest among certain factions. "They fear your potential," she explained. "The Nexus drive is just the beginning. They worry about what other advancements you might introduce." Vance knew they were walking a tightrope. Push too hard, and they risked alienating potential allies. Show weakness, and they could be overwhelmed by those who saw them as a threat. The solution came from an unexpected source. Engineer Thorne, inspired by the collaborative effort that led to the Nexus drive's success, proposed a bold plan. "What if we establish a joint Human Confederation research and development initiative?" he suggested. "We share our knowledge, they share theirs. Together, we could achieve things neither of us could alone." The idea gained traction quickly. Many in the Confederation were eager to work alongside the ingenious humans, while Vance saw it as an opportunity to secure humanity's position through cooperation rather than confrontation. As the framework for the Galactic Advanced Technologies Initiative, DATI, was being laid out, humanity, once lost to the ages, was now poised to lead the galaxy into a new era of innovation and discovery. But challenges loomed on the horizon. The mysterious organization working against humanity's interests continued to operate in the shadows. The genetic changes in the Lazarus crew posed both opportunities and risks, and somewhere out in the vast expanse of space, the echoes of humanity's past and the reason for their disappearance waited to be uncovered. The stage was set for alliance and adversity. How would humanity navigate the complex political landscape of the Confederation? What secrets would they uncover about their own past? And what new threats might emerge as the balance of power shifted in the galaxy? The adventure was far from over. It had only just begun. The establishment of the Galactic Advanced Technologies Initiative, DATI, marked a turning point in Human Confederation relations. Lazarus, once a warship, was repurposed as a state-of-the-art research facility orbiting a neutral planet at the fringes of Confederation space. Scientists and engineers from across the galaxy flocked to work alongside their human counterparts, eager to unlock new technological frontiers. Admiral Lyra Vance, now serving as humanity's primary representative to the Confederation, stood in Gate's central observatory, gazing at the stars. Captain Sarah approached, her scales shimmering in the starlight. "Quite a view, isn't it?" Sarah remarked. "A reminder of how vast the galaxy is and how much there is still to discover." Vance nodded, a hint of melancholy in her voice. "And how much we've lost. Earth, our colonies, our entire history." Before Zara could respond, Aoia's hologram materialized. "Admiral, we've detected an unauthorized data breach in the main computer core." Vance's expression hardened. "Location?" "Section 7, Level 3, Aoia replied. "Security teams are en route." Vance and Zara rushed to the scene, arriving just as Commander Reed and his security team cornered the intruder, a nervous-looking Valerian scientist. "Dr. Vex," Zara exclaimed, recognizing the crystalline being. "What's the meaning of this?" The Valerian's form pulsed erratically. I had no choice. They threatened my family." "Who threatened you?" Vance demanded. Before Vex could answer, his crystalline body began to vibrate violently. No, he cried out. In a blinding flash, Dr. Vex shattered into a million glittering shards. "Damn it," Reed cursed. "Some kind of self-destruct mechanism." As the security team combed through the debris, Dr. Nix arrived to examine the remains. "This wasn't just a simple explosion," she reported. "His entire molecular structure was destabilized. It's like nothing I've ever seen." Vance turned to Aoia. "What information was compromised?" "The intruder accessed files related to the Nexus drive and Project Lazarus," Aoia replied, her holographic form flickering with concern. Vance's blood ran cold. Project Lazarus was the classified program that had altered their genetics during stasis, granting them enhanced abilities. If that information fell into the wrong hands. "We need to contain this," Vance declared. "Zara, I hate to ask, but..." The Centaurian captain nodded grimly. "I understand. This goes beyond Gate-I. I'll use my clearance to initiate a top-level security lockdown." As Zara left to make the necessary arrangements, Vance gathered her senior staff. "We're dealing with more than just industrial espionage," she began. "Someone out there knows about our past and our capabilities. They're several steps ahead of us, and we need to catch up fast." Commander Reed stepped forward. "Admiral, I think it's time we told you about our findings. We've uncovered evidence of a shadow organization within the Confederation, one that seems to have been actively suppressing information about humanity for centuries." Engineer Thorne chimed in. "It gets worse. We've detected quantum entanglement signatures in some of the older Confederation tech. It's subtle, but it bears a striking resemblance to some of our own pre-stasis designs. The implications were staggering. Had elements of human technology spread through the galaxy during their absence? And if so, who was responsible?" Dr. Nix cleared her throat. "There's something else you should know, Admiral. I've completed my analysis of our genetic changes. The enhancements, they're not stable. Our bodies are slowly breaking down at the cellular level. We have maybe a year before the effects become critical." A heavy silence fell over the room. They were facing threats from without and within, racing against time to uncover the truth about their past and secure their future. Vance's mind raced, piecing together the puzzle. "RIA, access the deepest level of your historical archives. Cross-reference any mentions of humanity with data on the swarm and unexplained technological leaps in Confederation history." Aria's form pulsed as she processed the request. "Admiral, I found something. An encrypted file buried deep in my core programming. It appears to be a message from you." "From me?" Vance asked, bewildered. "How is that possible?" Aria's projection shifted, displaying an older version of Vance. The holographic admiral looked weary, her eyes haunted by unspeakable burdens. "If you're seeing this," the recording began, "then Operation Firewall has both succeeded and failed. The swarm has been defeated, but at a terrible cost. We couldn't save Earth, but we've given the galaxy a fighting chance." The younger Vance listened in stunned silence as her older self explained the true nature of their mission. Lazarus wasn't just a lifeboat for humanity, it was a Trojan horse. They had allowed themselves to be discovered by the swarm, carrying with them a genetically engineered virus designed to destroy the hive mind. "We knew the virus would affect us too," the recording continued. "The genetic modifications were a stopgap designed to give us time to complete the mission. But there were complications. Factions within our own ranks disagreed with the plan. They broke away, taking advanced tech with them. If you're watching this, they likely spent millennia working from the shadows, shaping galactic civilization." The hologram flickered, the older Vance's expression grave. "Find them. Finish what we started. The fate of humanity, of all sentient life, depends on it. Good luck, Admiral. To all of us." As the message faded, the room erupted into chaos. Questions flew fast and furious. How much of their mission had been a lie? Who were these rogue elements? And most pressingly, how could they hope to stabilize their deteriorating genetics? Amidst the tumult, Vance's mind crystallized around a single thought. They had sacrificed everything, their home, their history, perhaps even their humanity, to save the galaxy. Now they had to fight not just for their own survival, but for the truth itself. Enough. Vance's voice cut through the din. "We don't have time for recriminations or doubt. Every moment we waste is a moment our enemies gain. We have a mission, people. It's time we finished it." She turned to Captain Zara, who had returned looking shaken. "Captain, I know we came here as refugees, but it seems we're going to have to be soldiers once more. Will you stand with us?" Zara's 4 eyes blinked in rapid succession, processing everything she had heard. Finally, she straightened, her scales shimmering with determination. "Admiral, when I found your ship, I thought I was uncovering history. Now I realize I'm helping to shape the future. The Confederation, the entire galaxy, needs to know the truth. Whatever comes next, you have my support." Vance nodded gratefully, then addressed her team. "Dr. Nix, focus on stabilizing our genetics. Thorn, I want the Nexus drive pushed to its limits. We'll need every advantage. Reed, work with ARIA to track down these rogue elements. They've had millennia to cover their tracks, but they've never faced anything like us." As her crew sprang into action, Vance gazed out at the stars once more. Somewhere out there were the answers they sought, the key to their past and their future. The galaxy had forgotten humanity once. She'd be damned if she'd let it happen again. The hunt was on, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The children of Earth were awake, and they were done hiding in the shadows. It was time to reclaim their legacy and forge a new destiny, not just for humanity, but for all sentient life in the galaxy. Little did they know, ancient eyes were watching, and long-dormant plans were being set in motion. The final battle for the soul of the galaxy was about to begin. The revelation of humanity's true mission sent shockwaves through JT. For weeks, a station buzzed with frantic activity as humans and aliens alike worked tirelessly to unravel the mystery of the rogue elements and find a cure for the genetic instability plaguing the Lazarus crew. Admiral Vance stood in the command center, surrounded by a sea of holographic displays. Each screen showed a different facet of their investigation: star charts, genetic sequences, intercepted communications. At the center of it all was a slowly growing web of connections, linking shadowy organizations across the galaxy. Commander Reed approached, his face grim. "Admiral, we've got a problem. Our probes into Confederation databases aren't going unnoticed. We've detected increased chatter about human interference in secure channels. It's only a matter of time before they move against us openly." Vance nodded, her expression determined. "Then we need to move faster. What's our status?" Dr. Nix stepped forward, dark circles under her eyes, betraying countless sleepless nights. "We've made progress on stabilizing our genetics, but it's not enough. The deterioration is accelerating. We need access to the original Project Lazarus data to complete the cure." "And that data is likely in the hands of our rogue friends," Vance concluded. She turned to Engineer Thorn. "How's the Nexus drive?" Thorn's eyes gleamed with excitement despite his exhaustion. "We've pushed it beyond anything we thought possible. We can now open micro-wormholes large enough for small craft. It's not enough to move Lazarus, but it gives us unprecedented mobility for strike teams." As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the station. Captain Zara's voice came over the comms, tense and urgent. "Admiral, we've got incoming. A Confederation battle fleet just dropped out of FTL. They're charging weapons." Vance's mind raced. They weren't ready for confrontation, not yet. But maybe, Thorn, is the prototype ready? The engineer nodded, understanding immediately. "It's untested, but it should work. It'll have to do. Initiate Protocol Omega." Throughout Gatei, preposition devices hummed to life. A shimmering field enveloped the station, and with a flash of mind-bending light, the entire facility vanished. Moments later, Gatei reappeared in a distant, uncharted star system. As the crew recovered from the jarring transition, Vance allowed herself a small smile. They had just performed the largest Nexus jump in history. "Status report," she called out. "All systems operational," ARIA responded. "However, the jump has severely depleted our power reserves. We will need time to recharge before attempting another long-range jump." Vance nodded. "That buys us some time, but not much. We need tow." She was cut off by a sudden burst of static across all communication channels. As the interference cleared, a familiar face appeared on the main view screen: High Counselor Xandor. Admiral Vance, the Etherian's usually melodious voice was hard as steel. You leave us no choice. Your actions have been deemed a threat to galactic security. Surrender now, or face the full might of the Confederation. Before Vance could respond, the transmission was interrupted by another signal. The new image showed a humanoid figure shrouded in shadow, its voice distorted. So, the prodigal children have finally awoken, the figure said, amusement evident in its tone. You've certainly caused quite a stir, Admiral. But do you really think you can undo millennia of careful planning? Vance's eyes narrowed. You're them, aren't you? The rogues who broke away from the original mission. The figure chuckled. Rogues? Is that what the old guard called us? We preferred to think of ourselves as visionaries. We saw the bigger picture, a galaxy united under human guidance, shielded from threats like the swarm. United or subjugated, Vance shot back. A matter of perspective, the figure replied dismissively. But let's cut to the chase, shall we? You need our data to survive. We need your Nexus drive to complete our grand design. I propose an alliance. The command center erupted in protests, but Vance held up a hand for silence. And if we refuse? The shadowy figure leaned forward. Then you die, Admiral. Slowly, painfully, as your enhanced bodies tear themselves apart. And all your noble sacrifices will have been for nothing. The transmission cut off, leaving the command center in stunned silence. Vance turned to her team, seeing a mix of anger, fear, and uncertainty on their faces. Options? She asked simply. Captain Sarah, who had been silent until now, stepped forward. Admiral, I think it's time we played our final card. There's someone you need to meet. Intrigued, Vance followed Zara to a secure section of HFY she had never seen before. Inside a stasis pod, similar to the ones that had preserved the Lazarus crew, floated a being unlike any Vance had ever encountered. This is Kvax, Zara explained, the last surviving member of the species you knew as the Swarm. Vance recoiled instinctively, but Zara placed a reassuring hand on her arm. It's all right. Kvax is different. When your virus destroyed the hive mind, it gained individual consciousness. It's been helping us in secret, trying to atone for the actions of its species. As if on cue, the being's eyes opened. Its voice, a melodious telepathic resonance, filled their minds. Greetings, children of Earth. I have waited a long time for this moment. Over the next hour, Kvax revealed a truth more staggering than anything Vance had imagined. The Swarm hadn't been mindless destroyers, but a species manipulated by the same rogue humans who now threatened the galaxy. Their goal? To create a crisis that would allow them to position themselves as saviors, slowly taking control of galactic civilization from the shadows. Your virus didn't just free me, Kvax explained. It showed me the truth. I've spent millennia gathering evidence, waiting for the day when humanity would return to set things right. Vance's mind reeled from the implications. Everything they thought they knew about their mission, about the very nature of the conflict that had driven them to such desperate measures, had been a lie. But with this new knowledge came hope. Kvax possessed the key to stabilizing the Lazarus crew's genetics. And more importantly, it had a plan to expose the rogue humans and their millennia-long manipulation of galactic events. As Vance digested this information, she realized they stood at a crossroads of cosmic proportions. The choices they made now would determine not just the fate of humanity, but the future of the entire galaxy. She turned to her team, seeing the same mix of determination and trepidation she felt reflected in their eyes. Well, she said, a wry smile playing at her lips, it seems the real mission is just beginning. With newfound allies and a clear purpose, the crew of Lazarus prepared to take on an enemy that had been pulling the strings of galactic civilization for thousands of years. The final battle for truth, justice, and the future of all sentient life was about to begin. As they made their preparations, none of them could shake the feeling that this conflict would reshape the very fabric of the galaxy. The legacy of humanity, long hidden in the shadows, was about to step into the light, for better or for worse. The revelation of Kevak's existence and the true nature of the conflict that had shaped galactic history for millennia changed everything. With time running out for the genetically unstable Lazarus crew and the rogue humans tightening their grip on galactic civilization, Admiral Vance knew they had to act fast. In a daring move, Vance decided to broadcast the truth to the entire galaxy. Using a combination of the Nexus Drive's wormhole technology and Kavak's intimate knowledge of Confederation communication systems, they hijacked the galactic datanet. Trillions of beings across countless worlds watched in awe as the true history of the galaxy unfolded before them. Vance, standing tall despite the visible toll of her genetic deterioration, addressed the galaxy. Citizens of the Galactic Confederation, I am Admiral Lyra Vance of Earth. The story you're about to hear will shake the very foundations of everything you believe. But in these truths lies our only hope for a free and just future. Over the next hour, Vance, aided by Kavax and Captain Sarah, laid bare the manipulations of the rogue humans. They revealed how this shadowy group had orchestrated conflicts, including the swarm threat, to maintain their power. The evidence was irrefutable, backed by data gathered over thousands of years. As the broadcast continued, the response across the galaxy was immediate and intense. On countless worlds, citizens took to the streets, demanding answers from their leaders. The carefully constructed illusion of the rogue humans began to crumble. But the Shadow Organization wasn't going down without a fight. As Gietai's location was revealed by the broadcast, a massive fleet of advanced ships, hidden for centuries, converged on their position. "This is your final warning, Admiral," the distorted voice of the rogue leader boomed across all channels. "Surrender the Nexus Drive technology, or we'll reduce your station to atoms." Vance stood firm. "We will not bow to threats. For too long, you've manipulated the galaxy from the shadows. It's time to step into the light and face justice." As the enemy fleet opened fire, Goethe's shields strained under the assault. But they weren't alone. Inspired by the broadcast, ships from across the Confederation began arriving, forming a defensive line around the station. Species that had been bitter enemies just hours before now fought side by side against a common threat. The battle that ensued was nothing short of epic. The rogue humans, with their advanced technology, seemed to have the upper hand at first, but they had underestimated the power of unity. Under Vance's strategic leadership, the diverse fleet of Confederation ships worked in perfect harmony, their varied abilities complementing each other in ways the enemy couldn't predict. Meanwhile, inside Goethe, Dr. Nix worked feverishly with Kavax to complete the genetic stabilization process. As Vance coordinated the battle from the command center, her body racked with pain from the accelerating deterioration, Nix burst in with a hypospray. "It's done, Admiral," she exclaimed, injecting Vance with the serum. Kavax's knowledge was the key. "This should stabilize our genetics permanently." As the serum took effect, Vance felt strength returning to her body. With renewed vigor, she turned her full attention to the battle raging outside. Engineer Thorne's voice came over the comm. "Admiral, we've adapted the Nexus Drive to generate a massive wormhole. We can use it to trap the enemy fleet, but it'll burn out the drive. It's a one-way trip." Vance didn't hesitate. "Do it." A colossal wormhole blossomed in space, its swirling energies engulfing the rogue human fleet. As their ships vanished into the void, the wormhole collapsed, leaving behind an eerie silence. In the aftermath of the battle, as the galaxy reeled from the revelations and the defeat of the Shadow Organization, a new era dawned. The Galactic Confederation, shaken to its core, began the process of rebuilding, this time on a foundation of truth and genuine cooperation. Humanity, no longer a myth but a vital part of the galactic community, took its place among the stars. The Lazarus crew, their genetics stabilized, became a bridge between Earth's lost legacy and the promise of a united future. Kifax, once seen as the face of an implacable enemy, now stood as a symbol of redemption and the power of individual consciousness. Its insights would help guide the Confederation into a new age of understanding and empathy between diverse species. As the dust settled, Admiral Vance stood once again in Gaiety's observatory, gazing out at the stars. Captain Zara joined her, their reflection in the window a testament to the unlikely alliance that had saved the galaxy. "What now, Admiral?" Zara asked. Vance smiled, a mix of wariness and hope in her eyes. "Now, old friend, we build. We've won the battle against those who would manipulate us from the shadows, but our real work is just beginning." She turned to face the Centaurian, extending her hand. "The galaxy is vast, and there's so much we don't know. But if we face it together, humans, Centaurians, Kvax, and all the other species out there, I believe we can build something truly remarkable." As Zara took her hand, sealing their alliance, both knew that the adventure was far from over. New challenges would arise, new mysteries would unfold. But for the first time in millennia, the galaxy faced the future not as fragmented, manipulated species, but as a united civilization ready to explore the cosmos together. The legacy of humanity, once lost and then twisted by those who sought power, had been reclaimed, and in that reclamation, a new chapter in galactic history had begun, one of unity, discovery, and hope. As DATI sailed into the cosmic dawn, carrying with it the dreams and aspirations of countless beings, the stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter. The long night of secrets and manipulation was over. A new day had dawned for the galaxy, and its light promised to illuminate the cosmos for eons to come.